Hey guys, so I'll try not to make this a 20-minute long video. Just a little update on the frame. Remember when I told you guys, if you watched my prior videos, that the frame was bad, as I said, in the or thin in the leaf spring mount back, or sorry, the shock mount back. But one thing I didn't realize was how much did it actually really thin. I need to get like one of those dial gauges where you push it between two pieces of metal and it shows you the thickness of the metal. I need to get one of those because if I had one of those, I could actually measure the pitting in certain spots on here to see how thick the frame actually is there. And the reason why I need that is because I just realized that maybe I kind of cut too much of this off because I cut 2 inches of the center of the frame off and then the whole lower lip. And the reason why I did the whole lower lip is, here, I'll show you. This definitely had to be cut off. That is really thin. You see how it's like paper thin in some spots and really chunky and wavy, and it even has holes through it. But when you get to the other side, which is where the middle was, that's still really thick. As a matter of fact, that's still 3/16 thick. In some spots, like right here where my thumb is, that's actually still 1/8 thick. So even though you have a deep pit right here, where my finger is, that looks really deep, right? When you look at it from the side, even with the pit on this side, that's still 1/8 thick steel. And I'll prove it to you. I have a 1/8 steel plate here. This is 1/8 on the top. Do you see the difference? In the center right here, this compared to the top is still nearly 1/8 thick. So even with the severe pitting, the metal is still thick, and I'll even prove it to you right here. So this is the center piece that I cut in the center. And mind you, this was actually hard to cut out. And the reason why it was hard to cut out was, look. Do you see how thick that is still? It hasn't even thinned out at all, really. Now, this is the other side. It thinned out a little bit right there, you know, and that shows you the pitting. So all this pitting right here, yeah, it's thinned out a lot, but I cut into the pitting. So the pitting right here, all that pitting that I cut into, when you flip it around, do you see what I'm talking about? The little waves that go down and down, you know, up and down like hills. The metal is still really chunky. So that's actually the worst part of the frame. This piece I cut out right here, maybe I don't regret cutting it out because it is still the worst part of the frame. This part actually over here is not even pitted. There's like very little pitting in here. Very, very minor, at least compared to this. So I'm not even going to touch this side of the frame. I thought I was going to, but nope. After I cut this and I cut into the pits and I saw the side view of them, realizing that it's actually as thick as 1/8 steel, then I realized it really, how should I put it, is not structurally compromised to a point that I'm not worried about it, because the Wagoneer frames are 1/8 thick. The Wagoneer frames are as thick as this plate, I said, and the J10s and J20s are 3/16. I'm not 100% sure why the J10 is 3/16. The J20 I can understand because it has Dana 60 axle in the front and Dana 44 in the Dana 60 in the rear and Dana 44 in the front. So with payload ratings, it's not just suspension. So when you put something in the bed of a truck, and you know these Ford Chevy comparison videos that I watch online, you put something in the bed of the truck and it sags all the way down, that doesn't necessarily mean that the truck can't carry that. All that means is that the other truck that didn't sag had better leaf springs. But the leaf springs are not what gives you the load rating. What gives you the load rating is the axle. So with a Dana 44 axle, Dana or Spicer or whatever says that these things can carry 3,000 pounds. So you got 3,000 pounds, 3,000 pounds in the front. That's 6,000 pounds. That's the 6,000 gross vehicle weight rating that you get from this truck. Okay? Now, with a Dana 60 in the back, I believe the gross vehicle weight rating was like 7 or 8,000 pounds for the J20. That's a big difference. And if you subtract the gross vehicle weight rating of the weight of the vehicle, that gives you the maximum payload capacity of the vehicle. So if you take a 6,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating of this minus the 4,200 or 4,300 pounds that this Jeep weighs, that's how much payload you can put in the back safely. So that means that I could put, and I'm 300 pounds, okay, I'm a big guy, so 300 pounds, so if, let's say the Jeep will weigh 4,600 pounds with me in it, so 4,600 minus 6,000 is 1,400 pounds. So that means I can put 1,400 pounds of gravel, rock, concrete, tree branches, whatever in the back of here. Okay, that's the maximum you can put back there. And that's the reason why is because of the axle limitation. So the Grand Wagoneer, for example, that I have, same thing. Dana 44s in the front. The gross vehicle weight rating on that, I believe, is 6,000 or 6,200 pounds. So the payload rating on that thing on paper is actually 1,300 pounds. However, you can do, like I said, the gross vehicle weight rating minus the weight of the vehicle. So the Wagoneer weighs more. It's like 4,500 pounds. So 1,500 pounds is what you can put in the back of the Wagoneer, and I've done that before. So that's what your payload rating is. So if you can put 1,300 to 1,500 pounds in the back of a Wagoneer with 1/8 thick frame, and this one is 3/16 thick, which is like 40 to 50% thicker, why does the J10 have a thicker frame to begin with if the payload rating is the same? I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. So this is the reason why I'm not worried about pitting in certain spots of the frame, because even with the pitting, it's still as thick as 1/8 or thicker. So if 1/8 can handle 1,500 pounds in the Wagoneer, then surely a few spots of pitting here and there is not really going to compromise as far as the rigidity and structural integrity of the frame, especially if it's just the last few feet. So none of this is pitted. It's, like I said again, it's just surface rust. So yeah, I'm not worried about this. Once I weld in the angle iron right here and maybe fish plate it, I'm not going to really be cutting any more out. I'll probably cut out the back of the leaf spring, and the reason why it has holes there is because it pitted on this side and the other side. So you have a double whammy right there. Same with right here, it pitted on this side and the other side. So those need to be actually cut out. But that middle section I cut out really didn't need it, actually, because there is no pitting on this side right there. So I hope this puts the argument to rest too as far as the payload capacity of the vehicle, even with good leaf springs. Like if I put coil over springs and I put spring stiffeners in here to keep the vehicle from dropping when I put heavy amounts of weight in there, that doesn't raise how much you can put in the back of the bed. So just because a Ford or a Chevy doesn't sag when it has a pallet of concrete in the back of it, doesn't mean that the axle tubes have a risk of breaking, okay? So you got to go by your axle and gross vehicle weight rating, not if the Jeep or Chevy or Ford is sagging or not. So anyway, I hope this helps for some people that are actually wondering what the difference between all that is. And now I guess I got an insight of, how thick the frame actually is with these pits. So it's actually not that bad. So the pits look horrible, but it really didn't compromise anything. So I'm definitely not going to be cutting any more out of the frame, especially nothing on this side, because that side's fine. So today I might post another video after this, because I'm going to be wire wheeling all of this clean, and maybe I can start painting a little bit. We'll see. So how much time I have left in the day. But I can't really do anything else for the bed except for cutting the crusty lower edges off. And the reason why is because, again, I don't have the metal to make the brackets. I don't have the metal to make the bed yet. So, and there's no point in doing that when you got to clean this first. So, yeah. So thanks for watching, guys.